Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Nuestra Tabula Rasa. Today we are discussing, does a healer need to be fully healed to heal others? Welcome everybody. Thank you, Victor and Lucky and Millie for being here. And Josh should be joining us soon. We're hoping like
Excellent.
20 minutes or so. And yeah, so it should be an interesting discussion. I think since most of us are just kind of in this sort of community, but not necessarily professional healers, we can just discuss it more in a kind of broad sense. But yeah, so I guess the first question, like the elephant in the room, is being fully healed even a thing? So
That's
we
where I
could probably
started.
yeah. So would anybody like to tackle that one?
Well, I can. I'll start off.
Go
I'll
for it.
start off because
Go.
I have a feeling that we will have more information on this, more opinions, or more discussion here in a moment from Millie and Lucky, of course. And welcome to both of you. Good to see you again, Lucky. The and all of you in chat. The
Yes, sorry, I meant to say that too.
I would say to qualify that question, is it possible to ever be fully healed? Then you have to ask do we ever stop becoming a seeker? Because it seems like as we raise our vibrational frequency, is it our understanding? Is it our state of mind? Is it our healing things that we needed to get over? Then we have to qualify: is that it actually healing as we grow? Okay, so we can get nerdy about this, and I guess we're going to, since we already got there. So do we have to have that ability? So when we go up that vibrational frequency ladder, when you're getting making progress. You may not always know it right then, but you look back 2 or 3 years ago where you were, and obviously you're probably in a higher space now. So that being said, as you grew over the last couple of years, and your vibrational frequency increases, is that simply due to stuff you've healed? Or does the healing start off way back there? Does the healing kind of cap off whenever we come start the journey? Or is the healing flow into the journey? The journey is the result of the healing. Where does it start? So perhaps I know I'm getting a little bit granular there, but I think it's worthy of discussion, because where does the healing actually start? And then we get to the question at hand. But perhaps we should just stay at that question, because we could make 2 more shows, right, Lucky, about that topic. So personally, without divining anything, I do not agree that someone has to be deemed fully healed to heal another. And that mainly comes from it this way: is like the four of us sitting here. Anytime we have an exchange, it's always energetic. It's always an exchange with anyone in our lives, and I've had exchanges, and I've learned things from all three of you. I didn't knock down your door and say, "Oh my God, I just learned something." Sometimes I might say something, but I have learned lessons from all three of you guys. I've known you. We've had plenty of interactions. Not as many with Lucky, but I've had all of those. But if we somehow put ourselves up on some kind of chart, on our healing chart, all next to one another, the thing is, we're going to see in the healing zone there's, like, let's just say there's six different flavors of healing. Well, I might be very healed in one of them, and you guys might be healed in all the ones that I'm not healed in. All right. So that's why I agree. I completely say that you don't have to be fully healed to heal another. Because a lot of times you're healing something in me that I need, but I'm already fully healed in the area that you need. And maybe it's not exactly that exchange. So there's my preamble. There you go.
Millie?
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Victor. I think that you don't have to be fully healed to heal someone else. I believe that healing is a lifelong thing. I don't know if what comes first, the healing or the journey. I think that maybe the trigger to start the journey and that capacity to want to look at things closely and really do like a self analysis would trigger the healing, but that's just my opinion. I don't know that for sure. However, I do have to say, and I also agree with Victor on the fact that I believe everyone brings something different to the table and everyone has their own gift or their own thing where they excel at that maybe you don't, and it's not even a gift, it's just like your own talent, right? Whatever you're good at, your niche. But in regards to having someone maybe that's gone through an experience that you may currently be going through, I also don't believe that the person has to be fully healed from that experience to help you along your way. However, and you should always have discernment when looking, to someone else for insight into your own experience. I think that sometimes, though, you do need to be careful because there are those that are further along the line than you, and they have not necessarily worked out all the kinks. And there may be times when they may be imposing or maybe like not trauma dumping, but I think that sometimes there's a fine line between when someone's ahead of you, but sharing in their experience in a way that may negatively impact your healing. And I say that because there was someone that I used to watch that I was close with that had gone through some similar experiences. And when it came to this one experience, it was her opinion it was her opinion that she was being vulnerable in sharing things that had happened to her. But I think that her way of sharing was a way of of relieving it off of herself in a way that was not beneficial to her audience. How's that?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lucky, what do you think?
It's a lot. It's see the problem with that is you have to. It's not general healing. When you're healing somebody, there's usually a target. There's a theme, and you have to be well aware in yourself where you are. Physician know thyself, sort of thing. You have to know where you are in your spiritual journey to help someone else along their spiritual journey. You don't have to be fully healed, but you have to be aware where you're not fully healed. Because if you're not aware of where you're not fully healed, if you're lying to yourself, you will hurt other people because again, you have no awareness for. But if you're aware of it, you say, okay, I'm not fully in this way. I can walk with you so we can learn together. It's a very convoluted situation. So you can't be fully healed. There's no one can be fully healed, but you should be confident in knowledge where you are on your healing journey and where that relates to someone else before you interact with them and quote heal them. Healing is learning together is more beneficial than healing someone where you, in a place that you're not fully healed. You have to again. You have to, as long as you know yourself. If you don't know yourself, then you're gonna hurt yourself and others along the way. But that's just my opinion.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah. And I think healing too is like it kind of has a half life where you'll like you can heal, but are you ever actually to that complete point, right? Like things come back around. You can also like spiral um, back into that whatever you're healing a little deeper each time too. So you think that you've beaten it, and then something just brings you back into it, and you're like, okay, now I'm learning this on a deeper level. And I think that's part of it too, that you're just never ever going to actually be healed fully.
Hmm.
And that's life. That's what life is here for.
But can you not though get to a spot? I think it's almost like unconsciously being healed because you get to a point where you're no longer living day to day and X Y Z, this grief or whatever you're in, and then you get to the point where you realize, oh my god, I haven't thought about that thing that was so big in my life. I haven't thought about it for 2 or 3 years. But see, I don't really think of it. Oh, I must be healed from it. I don't think really in terms of healing. It's just like I think of it more of in terms of experiences. Because when you're in that muck and gunk and dealing with it, then you get more in tune as you grow. Then you realize you're in the muck and gunk because when you first started, you have no idea you're sitting there unless you've already been woken up, and then you wake up, take those first spiritual steps, then all of a sudden, oh, now I recognize what this is, and so your whole philosophy changes on a healing aspect of it. Boy, I don't remember where I was going with this. Well, it I got lost somewhere in there. Well,
Yeah, and I agree for sure. And I think that, um, I'm losing
oh,
my train of thought.
oh,
Go ahead.
it was whether we realize, if because that not ever being healed thing, I think it gets easier and easier and easier and easier. It's got to, because I don't feel
Yeah.
like I'm walking around with stuff I need to heal right now. I don't. I don't have it. It's not part of my. And I may have it. That's the thing. I may have it. I may be out there because going with Lucky's in your position of always having something to, having something to heal. But where does it reach a point where it's you're not living in it all the time? You see, that's kind of
I
the
like
point I
to
was making.
I like to use radiation as like a metaphor, right? Where it gets better and better and better, but there's always just that little bit left over.
Yeah, but is that
That's
something? Is that little bit of radiation in your body still? Are you aware of it?
Well, that's exactly it, right? It can be there without really affecting you on a deep level, right? So kind of, I do think that getting to that point, because getting to any really, it's that ongoing journey. So getting to a point where you can be helping others with your experience is, part of it. And that kind of brings me to my next question that I want to throw out there. Do you think that having similar wounds as somebody else helps or impedes you in helping them?
I think I touched on that. If you're familiar with your wounds, you have to be aware of them. So yes, you can heal together, but again, you have to be aware of those wounds. If
Mm-hmm.
you're helping someone because you've had the same experience and you have not gone through the transition and not healed from it, you're just going to wallow in self-pity with someone and not even, you're just going to spiral down into it.
Well,
That's the problem.
yeah, that
Well,
or project, right? Project your own processing that you've done onto them when maybe they'll be processing and need to process in an entirely different way.
That's huge. You're right. Yes, exactly. Yes.
and what about if it's mutual? Two people come together, and they both have the same wound, and they heal one another. You see,
It depends because you can, but then you can also end up trauma bonding, which isn't really a healthy thing to do either.
That's the dangerous thing.
Yeah.
But that's when you're both aware of the situation rather than you're spiraling into pity and fighting and just you know stuck in the same level. You have to be able to pull each other up piece by piece because you're working up rather than staying in the same level. If you're not aware, and there also is a time where you realize that you're someone trying to heal somebody and they don't want to be healed, well, and they're just keeping you anchored to that same level, and you need to realize that you can heal them and still heal yourself, and you have to cut ties. That's another difficult thing when you realize you're in a trauma bond and you have
Mhm.
to cut the bond in order for both of you. But again, it's all in awareness. You have to be aware. You have to be spiritually aware and judgmental of yourself or someone else. You just be aware of the situation and work on it in a way that works. And it might keep changing ideas constantly. That's the problem with healing. You can shift gears constantly.
I think that's the thing with healing, and that's also the thing with being aware of where you are in your healing. For instance, just over the last month, there were things that I thought were no longer an issue, but I found certain things triggering me, and I was like, why is that still bothering me? And then it's like, oh, so it's like it's like at a different level. You're addressing the problem. Um, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I thought that I was like those things didn't bother me or whatever, and it came up again in a totally different environment, and then it was like, oh, why? Wait a minute, why? What does that remind me of? And then it's like, oh, okay, and why am I thinking of that now? Like why is that affecting me like that now? And then I realized where the relation was, and then it's like, oh, I guess, all right. And then I had to get work through that, and it was way quicker, and it wasn't like that. And then with respect to what Lucky's saying, absolutely, you could be in a trauma bond, and you think that you guys are healing each other, but what you end up doing is if you don't snap out of it, you can end up in a loop of this healing that goes on forever, and you really don't need to be healing that long because you are over it, but maybe the person is not over it, and it's best for both of you guys to remove yourselves even for a short time so you both can figure it out, and then it's like, oh, all right, because then it becomes a codependency. That becomes the thing that you guys always talk about, or that you guys are always working on, and it's not you know this whole eternal thing. It should be, I feel, a little quicker.
Yeah, and Elle made a good point in chat too. Let me see if I can find it real quick about it's actually the person doing the healing and not so much the healer, the quote healer. It's the person that's healing themselves. That the power is
Yes.
within. I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah. That's why you
Yeah.
can't heal somebody who doesn't want to be healed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
I
very
agree.
good point.
Yeah.
I think it's like the person that's sharing or being vulnerable about their experience may trigger the other person that that is still in the thick of it to say, oh, okay, and provides the motivation, or if not, a new angle, a new insight, a perspective. I think everything's perspective. So even with the healing not being a lifetime thing, it's a perspective. You can call it healing, or you can just call it like, I don't think this way anymore, but I did a month ago, because you're constantly evolving and looking at things from a different perspective.
Hopefully.
Right.
I bet everyone here listening to us right now or completely agree with you. But then we know, that always comes up. It comes up every couple of days. It seems like in a conversation. Are we better off just having our blinders on? Because we all know people with their blinders on walking around. Hey, ignorance can be bliss. But are we better off that way? I'm not trying to change the subject, but I would say that everyone here is constantly, because it's like that roller coaster as we go up the vibrational frequency. It's like I get a higher high and then a higher low and then a higher high and a higher low, and those lows keep getting shallower and shallower. But they're still a low, but it's at a higher frequency while you're kind of, as I like to say, refilling your cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read Lakeside Laura's mind somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I was not trying to be intrusive. Oh, hey, can I throw something out? I'm gonna. It's gonna. Do you guys believe that you could send an energetic handshake, just like Millie's on a talk show or something, and she's like, right now we're like perfect candidates for it, but somebody can. How do you approach someone to send an energetic handshake? That occurred to me the other night because I was like watching somebody. I think it was Julianne or someone, and she was doing readings, and I thought, how can I do an energetic handshake, kind of like, "Hey, Millie," it's almost like a pat on the forehead, and then you're like, "Oh, that's Victor." Wouldn't that be cool if we could get to that level of ability? and I can just go. I see Lucky on his show, and I'm like, and it's not intrusive and not violating someone's personal space, but it's almost kind of a tap on the shoulder, but not have somebody jump out of their skin. Sorry about that. Okay, I digressed.
That's your energetic presence, though. Like even with telepathy, if you think about it, you walk in and you're like, "Hi, everyone. Hi, Victor." So if I just think, "Hi, Victor," that might get your attention, and then you're
Uh-huh.
like, "Hi, Millie," or and it happens. So, you know, it's just your energy, and with me, it's always a telepathy thing, and
Now
it seems to work.
I'm going to tag something else on. We're going to step just an additional step away from our topic, but uh, so when you come to a show, like we all jump into different chats throughout the day and the night. So when you come to a show, Millie or Trista or Lucky, do you know when somebody is in there?
Mm,
Sometimes.
yeah, sometimes.
And do you do it off of the frequency you see them in there, or it's just like a knowing?
Like I yesterday, Tamitha, I knew Tamitha was in the meditation, but I didn't see her say hello, but I felt her in there.
Wow.
And
Okay. So,
I had that happen with Christine one time. Yeah, because I didn't see her in the beginning, but I was holding her hand, and then I realized after because she didn't come back, but she had fallen asleep, and I was like, "Oh, I thought she was in here." And then like later, I said, "Oh, I was holding your hand even when you weren't there," and she's like, "Oh, I just fell asleep."
well, have any of you confirmed holding someone's hand and they confirm it with you?
I do it in the chat while we're talking. Like if the while the meditation is going on. I'll be like, oh, I think so and so's here and so's there. Like, like usually I can tell when it's PG because my hand starts to lift. And it's really weird because I'll be like, hold, and I can just feel his energy's very, and I'm like, PG, are you on my right? And then I'll just put it out there. So like yesterday, I felt PG on my right, and I felt Josh on my left, and Josh was just more like level, but PG, I could just feel it.
It's those
And there's
bubbles.
times, yeah, and it's right, and he's just very light and floaty like that, and then he laughed, so I was like, okay, so then I know it's him.
Hmm.
It's weird, but physical, yes, I can. But this online stuff, I don't know where anybody is online. I don't know who's there. I can't feel anyone. That's one of my holdups. Say that. But anyway, if I'm going someplace, I know who's already showed up and who's going to be late. It's just intuition. It's one of those things I've always had, and
That's
it's very
cool.
strong. And that might be where That might be my problem, where I'm so focused on the physical world close to me, I can't connect on the online world yet because I need to learn to decrease one ability so I can increase another. I think that's what's happening because I'm so good at it. It's become my friends. They were like, "How did you know where everybody was?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just do." And it's a safety thing too. It's like for especially if you're camping and hiking somewhere, I just know where everyone is, and I know that. Wait, we got to slow down because they're way behind because they're not healthy as they thought they were. Um, which unfortunately people resent that, but you know,
But
you
that's
don't need
your
to be big.
energetic intuition. You can feel them. You
Oh,
know they're far away.
and I'll be in the middle of the pack, and I know where everyone is. Okay, yep, they're ahead, they're behind, no big deal. But online, I'm lost. I try. Josh is back. Oh, Josh is here. Welcome, Josh.
Welcome, Josh.
Yay, Josh!
Hey guys, how we doing?
Excellent.
How we doing,
Very
guys? Can you
good.
hear me?
Yep,
We can
you're
hear
good.
you. Yay.
Cool.
Would
All
you like
right,
to?
thank you.
Yeah,
I've
you're
been
perfect
listening in
timing.
there. Yeah, yeah. As far as feeling people out there, if that makes any sense. And to go back to the original topic, just real quick, just to say for my 2 cents. Obviously, the answer is obviously you can because I am not completely healed yet. I've done good donning now, almost 370 shows worth of good donning, and been online for now going into year number two, over a year. and so heading towards year number two. So yes, with an absolute anybody who's healed 5 minutes can heal somebody who hasn't healed for 5 minutes. I mean, it doesn't take much. So anything that you've got healed, anybody can. But absolutely, um, that's not. I mean, we're all here healing each other. It doesn't take and one crackhead could heal another crackhead literally by just you wake up. Wait a minute, is this who I'm hanging out with? And you realize you're a crack. So it doesn't. No, even the broken can heal the broken if they realize. So no, that's what we all do. It's just how you see your universe. But as far as the energetics, what you guys were saying there, yeah, it's feeling who's like online or not online. Um, for me, it depends on how connected I am to what I'm doing online. Sometimes if I'm watching something online, then I'm just in a frozen state, or I'm half distracted. But if I'm watching like Truth Wave, so like 50% of the time I'm watching Truth Wave, I'm watching and I'm part of it. On 50% I'm in the chat or I'm doing dishes. Honestly, that's real. Just based on my universe and what I need to do. So if I'm more grounded in, yes. In something like Truth Wave, for sure, I'll be like, wait a minute, I'm not feeling somebody's there. It's more my than feeling in. But yeah, to go back to that. Hopefully that helps.
Oh, of course it does.
So, how do we balance our own ongoing healing with if we feel that responsibility of healing others or helping others to heal themselves?
Could you repeat that? Because that's one of my
Yeah.
problems.
So, how do you balance your own healing, your own ongoing healing journey when you are choosing to take responsibility to help others heal?
Okay, if you're
That's easy.
sacrificing your healing for someone else, you're not doing the right way. Sacrificing, if you need to know how much healing you need today in order to progress and help someone else.
Mhm.
And if you're going to push and try to heal someone else and feel yourself go behind and go down, lose some energy, and then you're going to resent them. It's just how it is because I did so much for you because you haven't, there's a balancing act where you can't sacrifice, and you have to be aware of that. Um, a lot of times that's we fall into that where we need to take our needs first and but not at the expense of someone else because we're not narcissists. But a narcissist will tell us we're selfish and bring us down, and then so we'll try to help them because the narcissists love when we help them and sacrifice for ourselves. They
Yes, they
they
do.
feed off of that, and that kind of thing is you have to realize you're in that kind of situation and cut it off at the just cut it, stop it, because you can't sacrifice.
Yeah.
And the problem is if it's a family member or a very close person to us and they're narcissists, you have to realize that, and unfortunately, you have to take your own needs first. Always take your own needs first without hurting someone else. It can be done. It's easy to do when you're aware of it, rather than going, "Oh, I'm being so selfish. I'm taking my needs first, not helping them." No, you can't help them if you're taking your needs for granted. But that's just my opinion.
There's
Yeah,
two ways to. I don't know.
your own.
Go
Sorry, go
ahead,
ahead.
Tristan. No, go ahead, Tristan, please.
I was just going to say your own cup has to be overflowing before you can fill someone else's, right? And it's just like how, in Truth Wave, when we fill ourselves up before we fill up the planet, because it's important to have that overflow to be able to give, right? Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, there's another way to look at that though. You can only help somebody heal what you've healed yourself, right? You can't heal if you're unhealed in something. You can't help somebody heal that. So if you're helping somebody heal in their healing, then you have to recognize that what you're already helping them with is something that either you're healing yourself or you may have already healed. And if that's the case, and you're passing that on, then yeah, there's a point where you have to have boundaries within that for sure. But at the same time, I'm if I'm able to help somebody heal something that I've already healed from and can pass on that's what I do on my show. That was the whole purpose. So it's like, wait a minute, I'm beginning to heal these things. yeah, you're correct. There has to be. Am I working on other things on myself and all of that? But and in between that, do realize that at least the way I see it as well is that it could be a gift. That if somebody's coming to me going, I recognize this healed portion of you, and I need some help. Wait a minute, this was broken, and that, and if you don't need if that, and you're not, you wake up. Wait a minute, I just realized. You could have a realization that wait a minute, somebody's seeing that healed vision or that healed side of me. So if nothing else, there's one way to at least come at it with a different way than just being, they're coming at saying, I recognize something within you that I need help with that I don't have in myself. So there is at least that. I certainly understand the need for space and finding, but if there's any at that point, it's like, wait a minute. So I'm almost like at a duty in a twisted sort of way, and then part of that may be the cancer in me as well. But it's not even. It's like, okay, I've been given the gift of healed, so I will make time to help that healing find in you because I know what it's like to not have to carry that weight around. And if I can help you with that, then that's a little less weight that humanity has to carry around as well, right? The whole collective source field gets just a wee bit lighter as we each help each other do that. So that's one way to see it.
I think some of it might be around how we identify as well, because I don't. While you were before you came on, Josh, I was talking about that. I don't, I don't participate in a sense. Well, throughout my day, it never comes up. Oh, where have I not been healed? You know what I mean? I don't have like my list of things I need to heal or anything like that. It's more like a reminder, like that comment about the narcissist that someone just brought, like you just brought up. I got a little pang, all right, because I went through that game, all right. I went through that game at one part of my life with someone, and boom. So that tells me, I've still got some healing to do in that area. And it's like on Truthwave when I say, hey, if you feel anxiety in your belly, when you hear the word anxiety, you probably need to release it. It's just along those things. So I don't like consciously walk around. And I'm kind of the question: do you guys walk around often thinking about your healing? Oh, I need to work on that, or I need to work on that. Maybe I don't know if I've ever been that way, but it'll be some example or a word or something like that. And then now at least I have the knowledge, the ability to recognize, oh, hey, yeah, that's a spot for me. That's a spot for me. And that's a spot for me. But it's not like so I thought I posed the question to you guys. Do you guys actively like, hey, I'm working on that piece right there? How do you approach it? Because I just shared how it comes to me. Mine is usually as a reminder that I've got this. So
That's my thing. If I feel aggravated or angry or upset, and I'm like, wait a second,
Mhm.
what just happened? What do I need to work on? Rather than allowing that person really upset me, or that person cut me off, or this situation is really unfair. I go, wait, something's triggering me. I got to figure this out. I'm gonna put a pin in this right now because I could, especially if I'm in the middle of something when I'm aggravated. Okay, this situation, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna let myself cool down a bit, get myself some distance, and then look back on it. Yes, I'm always, rather than allowing myself to be aggravated or upset, I deal with it. But sometimes, I'll just walk away. Like this, I can't deal with this at this moment. Um, but because I don't want to. I'm a very angry person, and I don't want to be that way. Because I'm
well, you
very
just
talented. Yeah, I'm very talented in pushing people's buttons. Very good at that, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Well, you just told all of us that you're very good at it. FYI.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I just know how to push buttons. It's
As Josh
especially
would
in person.
cancel that. Yeah.
But he's a gray agent, right? So maybe you're here to trigger people in such a way to make them self-analyze.
Yeah.
I get you, though. I get you.
There's a balance, though. Yes.
Yeah.
I know I'm aware of that, where I can help somebody see what they need to deal with, but in a gentle way, rather than, there's ways of presenting things to people, seeing if they're ready, and then helping them along, rather than pushing it on them and upsetting them. There's a balancing act. Yes, I have an intuition to go, I know what this person needs to heal, and then I could do it the gentle way. Oh, they're not ready. Walk away. Or I could do an aggressive way and just push it on them, and then of course it's just not nice. It's just, but I'm aware of these things. That's the thing. That's the good thing. I'm aware of these things rather than continuing on that path.
Yeah, that's a huge step, being aware about it, being aware of it.
My
And we
30s
can
was a
plant,
couple of times.
we can plant seeds for people too, and then when they are ready, they'll be there to kind of sprout and grow, right? And I
Yeah,
think
that's the
that,
thing. Yes.
yeah, that can be really helpful. And if they're not open to it, they probably won't notice. Do you know what I mean?
It,
Um,
it's more like
but
if
I,
something comes up and I go, hey, if you want to talk about this sometime, I'm available. Until then, it's cool. But ever, I brought that up to friends. So if you ever want to talk about this, anytime, day or night, it's cool. But until now, until you're ready, don't worry about it.
yeah, and people's triggers are their own. And I know that they don't always like to face that fact, but it's true. And if we're triggering something, or if we're doing something that is triggering something in somebody else, then that's really on them to address that and to look at it and see why. Because we can't be tiptoeing around everybody and everybody's triggers, because then we would just be, I mean, it would be a full-time job.
Indeed. So, Millie, how does your healing stuff and Trista, you guys haven't actually answered that yet, and Josh, how do you look at it?
You know, I'm just living. And as I'm living and I take note, I think that the part of the whole healing thing is that you become able to self analyze yourself on the way you're dealing with things, or what bothers you. Uh, and on the same token, what makes you happy and why that makes you happy and why that's important to you. So I think it's just a way of living, a way of knowing the way that Lucky knows that, yeah, he has a propensity to go there full throttle and make someone ape shit. But you know what? He's not going to do that because that's not good either. You know what I mean? So, and without tiptoeing, he may address it, he may not address it to a certain extent. But I think it's just a way of living that is where I'm more at peace with myself and I'm just really realizing what it is that makes me tick and what it is that I enjoy about life, and I approach it in that sense. So I know that if there's something really that's making my experience not good, or something that maybe I'm not looking forward to, something or some interaction that I had that left a bad taste in my mouth, well, why is that? Is it the person? Is it their attitude? Was it the circumstance? And look at it like that. But I don't look at it like, oh, like what needs to be healed like that. Like I don't. I'm using that language here with you guys, but I don't necessarily go around thinking that language in my head. That's not the monologue that's going on in my head.
Hey, at least you only have one.
Well, sometimes there's a whole lot. That's funny.
And I think for me, for because we're talking about our own healing and supporting others, right? That was the question originally. For me, I think if it's something like in my own life, like with friends or acquaintances or work or whatever, um, if I don't have the energy to deal with it, then I step back and I have to put that boundary up. When it's more like professional, if I have a client and I'm feeling kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, I've never had to reschedule for that reason. And I've always, and it really more comes from a feeling of, well, I feel bad, so I don't want to. But then every time I step into that session, I feel better. And once I'm working with them, it all just flows. So I haven't had to kind of sacrifice that, um, due to my own what I feel like I don't have because it's there. And once I get into, that mode, then it comes really easily. But it is definitely different when it's just, dealing with people in my life and where I'm like, okay, like I don't have the energy for that. So I'm just gonna step back and conserve myself.
Hmm.
And Josh,
There. So to answer your question, my internal dialogue right now generally wasn't that way. Now it is to an extent because I'm looking for the patterns that I've created that have led to from age two, and so and they come out all the time in discussion with people at work and discussions with people on the phone. One came out today that I realized why I didn't I karmically right why I wouldn't sleep as a child, right? It just came out like, wait a minute, and this is how it's been happening all the time. So I don't even have they find me. And so it's like, wait a minute. Now I know I did. It was something I could control, right? I could control when I go to sleep because I couldn't control it at two. And so I stomped into this. I'm not going to go to sleep, and so I can control that. And so I realized that all the way till now. That's why I still stay at karmically late at times. And so it's all based on that pattern I started when I was at two. When at three, my mother took my bed apart, and I sat there and watched Saturday Night Live. Right, and so my mother and my father put my bed in the lawn. And so exactly, so I can realize these things. So for me, it's more of a baseline of what's the general oversight of what I'm looking at. But and so now it's removing karmic patterns. But I generally don't even have to think about it because I'll just get epiphanies as long as I'm directing in that manner. I'll get epiphanies that will um, downloads, whatever it is, that will show me what I'm clearing in the first place. Like it's all aligned anyways, and it just magically. It's like it just magically happens where I'm just wait a minute. The reason why I've been broke all my life is because I'm keeping the small story at age two. Hello. And so I've been keeping myself in this small broken story so that I can maintain that story because it's the only story I know. And so exactly, interested exactly, you guys get it. And that's how it works in my universe. I'm not really specifically it's like whatever the bigger picture is, I just get all these things that pop up like bubbles show up, these things to show up in my frame and then it helps to clear it. And so really I've had so many epiphanies about, what happened that it's like at this point, it's a lot of it's just gone. It's just, it doesn't exist. It's just gone. It's just back to normal. But whatever normal is, I have to learn that. So I have to create new patterns, right? So that's the fun part is, but I don't generally do so well. So what I do is situationally my universe changes, and then I have to create patterns that work with. So like now with the new job and whatnot. So now I have to kind of square myself up even more because of what's happening around me, which is how my universe always works. Because I can't pull myself forward in that aspect. The situations will have to force me to pull me forward. It works just as well.
yeah,
Interest, Trista, I have a question. I can send the question. I have a question I'd like to pose as well.
yeah,
Whenever
for sure.
you, I don't want to butt into your
No,
question.
go for it. I'm running out because that one that I had was like actually three questions and it turned into one. So go for it.
All right, starting around the circle, we'll start with Lucky once again. Do you, and this is for all of you, do you consider yourself a healer?
Yeah, I yes. Actually,
Like as a modality, it's like your thing.
yeah. Unfortunately, I have to know where I am with that person and what I'm doing. Yes, because I can definitely yes, 100%. I yes. Unfortunately, it goes into a long story to that, and I'm trying not to. So yes, that's it. I am a healer. I know I'm a healer. And people come into my life for me to help. And when they come into my life for me to help, usually there's a little bit of them that helps me. They come into my life for a reason, so I'm going to help them. We're in there. They're doing it to help each other in some way. So if I'm healing somebody, usually something I get to heal in myself comes along.
It's usually an exchange.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, Millie.
I think I am, and I'll put it simply because I can feel when people are comforted being around me, or comforted, or that I've brought some kind of peace to them or insight in just dealing with them on a certain subject, or that they've shared something with me. and I've given them a perspective of hope that maybe they didn't have, or a clarity that they didn't have.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Trista?
So yes, and it's funny because I was resistant to it for a really long time, and but I look back now and go, yeah, like because I was always the person that people would confide in, and I could help people kind of work through their thoughts. Like I was on peer counseling when I was in high school, and it came really naturally to me. But I didn't look at it as healing per se back then. And then, it took that lady that I met coming through my till one day who was like, let's go for lunch. And then she was the one who told me about Reiki. And she says, you're a healer. You need to do this. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't like that word. And it just felt all kind of pressury. So I was like, well, I'll learn my first level and that's it. And just kind of heal myself and, my plants and my friends and animals and stuff. And honestly, it has taken me a really long time to kind of um, bring that word into my field in a comfortable way. And I don't know why that is, but I mean, that's probably good because I think too many people scream it from the, rooftops, and that's kind of suspicious too. So, but yes, yeah, I do consider myself a healer now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Brother Josh?
Absolutely. I'm going to go with what Lakeside Laura said in the chat. We're all healers. We're all at
Mm.
different degrees. We all heal each other in different ways and different things. Like I said, even two crackheads, active crackheads, sitting there smoking crack at the same time to heal each other because they could both have epiphanies looking at the other crackhead that they don't want to be.
Well,
Wait a
yeah,
minute, what did
I
I turn
agree
into?
with you. I agree with you, but do you identify, like in your
Absolutely.
monologue, as a healer? Okay.
Yeah, without question. Without question. I mean, I wouldn't be doing good dunning, and otherwise, um, if I didn't think that I had something that I was offering that could help, I wouldn't be sharing what healed me and how I'm healing myself, and how my journey is going. If I wouldn't be doing that, I wouldn't be giving a whole, doing a ramblings when I am, and giving how I'm using those and healing me, those statements, and seeing myself as the I am, and passing that on. Absolutely, without question. Yeah, I totally see myself. I didn't until I don't know. Once I did good donning and it started picking up, yes, without question. Do I see myself as a healer? Sure. We're all healers, but can you, as long as even the most broken person can heal, but can they see that, and can you see that in yourself? I think you have to have a level of somewhere that you are healed to see that you're healing, or heal a healer, um, to be able to see through that, all that darkness, at least that you have a little bit of light. And so honestly, just the fact that I can say that I am, kind of blows my mind, because really when I think about how dark it was, yeah, absolutely. That's a good question though. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, the floor is yours, Trista.
Mm.
So thank you for entertaining me, everyone.
Let's see. See, because I
Well,
think a
why?
lot. Sorry, go ahead, Millie.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, well, what's your perspective on that, Victor?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get by on that for a moment. You know, I don't look at myself. I don't really think about myself in my monologue as a healer, not at all. And I think that's kind of reinforced last year when I couldn't save my cat, because I tried and tried and tried. But certain things are meant to be, and I just don't. I think there's healing that goes on within Truth Wave. Definitely, I think it's definitely there. But I don't really think of myself in the sense of being a healer. It's not. It's not like in my. I think it's happening, and I think it's a byproduct of what I do. So in a sense, I guess it does. The healing does happen, but it's nice to heal. It's nice to hear whenever we can send our healing out to people. And we do it on the channel, but I don't necessarily. I don't really think of myself in that way, but I'm going to explore it tonight. I'll let you guys know on one of the shows or a Good Dawning or somewhere. I'll let you guys know. I'm going to really dig into that because I thought I had to answer, and then whenever you guys started answering, guess what it did? It broadened my perspective about it, and uh, thank you guys. It's beautiful. I look forward to. See, this is something I get to heal from. Is it healing that I'm doing just by even asking that question? Do I feel? Do I have something in there that says, "Oh wait, you can't identify as that yet because of something else"? That's going to be a great journey. So I'm looking forward to it, and that's all because of you guys answering those questions. So thank you.
Well, Victor, you got rid of my headache that time when I didn't even know that you were doing it, and get up, I'm like, why do I feel a little bit better? Usually when I walk around, it gets worse. And then I sat back down and saw your message in the chat, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So
we nuked you. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. Uh, do you think people hold back from helping others because they feel like they need to be perfect? Maybe not us in particular, but do you think that's a common thing for people?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. People hold back because they need to be perfect and they don't heal others. I'm confused. I'm trying to make the connections.
Like maybe being hesitant to help because they don't feel worthy of being able to um, to bring that to people. If that makes it any more clear. They don't feel worthy as healers.
You
Maybe
mean
they have a hard time claiming that word, just like I do. You know what I mean? So then they kind of like, well, no, this isn't my wheelhouse, so I'm not gonna help.
so?
No,
You're saying
weird.
they don't want to stick their neck out. They want to, they don't want to heal someone because would mean bringing that subject up. Or is it about them not wanting to heal someone because they don't know if they're going to be successful? I'm
I think
getting
it could go
different. I
either
not.
way. Yeah, I think it could go either way. Like if they're not confident in their own ability to
Mm,
without using the word heal, but with their own ability to help and to help people move through something that maybe they're
They
trying
just
to
don't
deal
have
with.
that confidence yet.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if they have self doubt, they shouldn't be healing someone because self doubt is going to get them into trouble. That's a lot because actually they might have the ability, but the self doubt is going to bring them down a peg. So, oh, this is so convoluted. Yeah, I don't know how to answer the question because it's so many levels, and even that, even though I'm aware of the levels, I don't know how to form a cohesive answer.
One thing I would like to say with you saying like, well, if you have self doubt, you can't. But I disagree with that in the sense that I still have doubts. And even when I'm doing it professionally and when I'm working on somebody and something will pop in my head and I'll think, is that my brain making it up? Or, is this working? And I don't think it is. And then they'll say something that will show me that they received that and that they felt what I was doing um, or that they connect with whatever image came to my mind and I'll have those doubts until it's confirmed. And honestly, I need those like little affirmations or confirmations every once in a while to kind of keep me on my toes because it's like it's a weird um, responsibility, I think, to communicate those things with people and um, and hope that I'm not making an ass of myself. Like saying, well, I saw this, but it doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you? And it's something really strange. And then they're like, oh yeah, I love that animal or whatever. Where then it does make sense. And then I get that little, okay, maybe I'm onto something. But anyway, that's my rambling.
But
Anybody else have anything? Yeah,
needing validation doesn't make it self doubt.
it kind
It's
of is.
mm,
If I'm because if I'm in that state of doubt and that validation is helping, then isn't that doubt?
Say that one more time.
Well, if I'm if I'm not sure and I'm hesitant to communicate things with people because I'm doubting that what's coming through is accurate or makes sense at all, then how is that not doubt?
It's levels of doubt. It's the strength of the doubt. That's where I'm missing.
That's
That's my
fair.
problem. That's how I didn't define. If you have a lot of doubt, you're in a problem. If you have a less doubt, you're it's what a true skeptic is. Is not someone who's trying to look for problems, look for a way of debunking it. A true skeptic is looking for ways to validate it. So your doubt levels, so that's the problem, and that's where I probably need to define it's the levels of doubt. But how do you define levels of doubt where you need a little bit of validation once in a while to make yourself feel like, okay, I am progressing. um, Oof, that is a complicated thing. This is this question has gotten more and more complicated in my head.
Does anyone else want to touch on anything?
I would think that the reason that someone that could possibly heal another would not do it is because they're not healed in seeing themselves as not only worthy, but in seeing themselves as seen.
Hmm.
So I think that if you're someone that is just not even seeing yourself and you haven't healed yourself in that matter, then it would be hard for you to believe that anything that you would say to someone else would be something that would be positive or in any way provide them healing because you are not seeing yourself.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that also it comes from having a willingness to put yourself out there to be seen in a vulnerable state. If it's some kind of healing where you would have to say, "Hey, I've been there too."
Hmm.
But I think that sometimes you don't, like Josh said before, I can heal people because I've been there and I've recognized that. Yes, being relatable, I think, is really fantastic when you have someone that's relatable because you're like, okay, they know exactly what I'm feeling. They're touching on all these things. I felt this too. I understand them and they're, I see the authenticity in what they're saying. So that is sparking my healing because of if they've done this and they've been where I've been, then I can be there too. But I think that also some people just may have a natural talent in something. And they say that when you admire something, it's something within you that maybe is not awakened or whatever. And you're like, wow, I think that person is great because of XYZ. And you're looking to have that XYZ awakened or remember that you are that XYZ also, then that doesn't mean that that person necessarily ever was deficient in that, but just the way they're shining is appealing to you, and you want to shine in that way too.
Hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. I just had another epiphany. Go ahead there if you want, Victor. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Josh.
All right, I just kind of had another epiphany. I realized that if I'm on YouTube, right, and that means I have to be able to see myself first before I can let others see me, right? So I just realized how anybody who's on YouTube realize you don't say you see yourself. You have to be able to see something in yourself in order to go on YouTube. So you can't sit on YouTube and tell me you have low self-esteem in some sort of fashion because you have to have some sort of something that you're carrying within yourself to get onto YouTube and push that in front of and hand that put that out there for others to see. So I just had that epiphany. That was kind of cool. But those things kind of happen all the time. But no, as for myself, it's about I knew I had something that I could share because it's like wait a minute, I climbed so it's like I've climbed so far, and it was just like and I've watched so much YouTube. It's only at this point I probably watched I don't know how many hours of YouTube have I watched. I mean thousands of hours of YouTube, right? And so it's like at this point it was like natural at this point. There's like nothing else left. It's like I'm on. All right, I've been watching this long enough. I've got it. I know kind of the formula here in some aspect, a formula. I've watched it. I know what, you know. All right, I have something I can share. I have a light, and so I had to see that light in myself first, and that's just to realize that. Wait a minute. Okay. An expression of my healing is the fact that I'm on YouTube in the first place, and so maybe I'm doing it for others, but maybe I'm really doing it to express something to myself as well, whether perfection or not. And none of my videos, there's nothing perfection because I've never done a video that's been edited. So it's everything's been live and unperfect. I'm the least of the perfect. I don't care. I'm the least of the unperfected guys you'll see. So as far as I don't, yeah. So I don't know. But I thank you for giving me the opportunity to have that epiphany because I'm carrying that. Even that frames me up even more. It's wait a minute. When I think if I ever want to think that I'm truly think I'm broken. Wait a minute. How broken? I put myself on YouTube. I'm not as broken as I think I am. So exactly. So
I'm
thank
with
you.
you, Josh. I don't have one long form video. Never have.
Yeah. I don't think Lucky has. Lucky does his shorts and stuff, but I don't think Lucky does too much that's cut either.
Hmm.
I do what I'm told, but that's about
There
it.
you
Excellent.
That's it's unfortunately making bad videos is part of the process for me.
Exactly.
No,
Same
dude, you
here.
make great videos.
Your videos are awesome.
They are.
No, they're made to be
And I want
bad.
that follow me drone. I want that follow me drone. That's cool.
Not yet. Wait, because they've come out with 3 more that are coming out. They're in
Hmm?
uh, what do they call it? Kick me, not kick me.
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter.
Oh,
Kickstarter. Indiegogo. That they're in those kind of things, and I think we
oh
should
wow.
just wait. These are the prototypes. They have like 3 different prototypes they're trying.
Cool.
Excellent.
Well, we're at our hour. So does anyone have anything that they wanted to throw in before we wrap it up? No?
Hey, be excellent to each other.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
There you go. Just make,
Arwayne Steiger has this thing he says that I don't understand, but maybe others might. When you begin to doubt your doubts, you'll never doubt your doubts again. Still don't understand that. I've
begin to
analyzed that
doubt
several
your
times. He
doubts.
said it's simple, and it's not
Never
to me.
doubt your doubts again.
Okay,
Yes.
say it again.
When you doubt your doubts, you'll never doubt your doubts again.
Hmm.
I have it written down, and I have a long, like 2-page thing where I'm trying to figure it out. How is this? How can you never doubt your doubts when you're doubting your doubts? And he says you're free. It's a freeing thing, and I'm like, I don't understand.
So whenever you doubt your doubts, the first part, you're invalidating your doubts.
Mm,
So you're making them go away.
yeah.
Right. But then the second part,
You'll
you'll
never
never doubt.
doubt your
'Cause you won't
doubts
have
again.
to. You won't have to doubt your doubts again.
Yeah, there
Oh,
you go.
damn it.
They're gone because you killed
This
your
has been
doubts. Right.
years I've been using
You
this thing, and
eliminated the
I
doubts.
haven't. Oh my God, this has been years he's
Victor,
saying
did you
this.
do really well in like the math problems, the word math problems and stuff?
Oh my
Oh, I
God.
hated those problems.
Oh, I
I
did
I
so
think I
like you
think
do.
that what he's saying to me, like right off the bat, is to live life unapologetically,
There you
Mm,
go. I like
without
that.
regrets.
Yeah, exactly. Don't doubt
yeah.
yourself is what he's really boiling it down to. Period.
And unconditional love does not mean unconditional tolerance.
Right.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing solved.
Awesome.
Well, thank you
Check.
guys.
Thank you
Oh.
all. Thank you
Yeah,
all for being here. Thank you all for the great discussion.
thank you, chat.
Yeah, sorry for not paying attention to the chat very well. And it seemed like every time I did look at it, Jimena was apologizing for talking too much. But
No, she has
No.
some major things that
No,
she's
that
the
would just be
wise one in this topic,
huge.
so you better talk lots.
never
Share.
apologize for your wisdom, Jimena. We love what
Exactly.
you have to
She had
say,
some huge
and you can
insights, and
never
I'm like, oh,
overdo
this
it,
is
Chet.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's got some things that I was
I
afraid to
agree.
start on because there's a whole episodes I feel.
And I could miss another epiphany that I could get triggered from one of Jimena's comments.
Let me tell you something. When we start doing t-shirts, that's going to be a t-shirt. Lucky saying that's a whole episode or two.
Oh my gosh. I need
I
that
love
coffee
it.
cup. I need that coffee
Yes.
cup. So we may have
Oh,
merch next weekend.
There you go.
oh, it's too funny. All right. Well, thank you, everybody here and everybody in chat. It's been a slice. I feel like we covered a lot and made a lot of really good points. And I appreciate everybody's honesty and 2 cents and or 5 cents because I'm in Canada and we don't have pennies. And yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Trista. Thank you, Millie, Josh, Lucky, and all of you.
Thank you all.
Namaste.
Have a wonderful evening. See you
Love you
Thank
all
you,
next week.
guys.
guys. Love you all. See you in the dawning.
Have a great week.
All right. Love you all.
Bye.
See y'all.